What's up, bitches?
We're still here.
That was weird.
So
we just found this one. It's freshly found.
So we were like, let's look for another bad-looking Sherlock fanfiction with Mycroft in it because he's my favorite.
So we have no idea.
Yeah, but we basically just went to a random page on fanfiction.net, and the title caught our eye.
It's called The First Time Mycroft Cried Alone in the Dark.
Okay, I'm assuming he's an adult in this. Really? You never cried alone in the dark before you were like 45? Who are you?
Well,
anyway.
Maybe it's...
Oh, wait, maybe it's good. We have no idea.
We don't, yeah.
But with a title like that, we had to find out. And it's by The Fall of Gallifrey. So, this person at least likes cool things.
That might not be... Alright, author's note. I read a fan fiction by I Beg to Dream and Differ that the first time Mycroft was kissed back by another man, the guy's name was Douglas. Having a friend named Douglas, I instinctively told him about it and insisted I write a fan fiction with him and Mycroft in it.
Well,
this is what
really
I came up
awkward.
with. Here's to you, Douglas. Enjoy. Poor Douglas.
I hope Douglas appreciates that you've written a fan fiction about him and Mycroft. Okay, Mycroft rushed through lunch, barely eating any of the cake Sherlock had baked him. He baked him a cake? Why would he do that? Why would he do that?
It's like in the other...
Well, someone where he turned into a cake. That made less sense.
Maybe it's one of those things, like, sometimes in fan fiction, like, things just kind of become canon even though they're not.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like the cake, but no, I don't have any problems with Mycroft eating cake. I have problems with the fact that Sherlock baked it for him and didn't, like, put arsenic in it or something. Or dirt. His little brother was a really good baker when he didn't try to use his chemistry set. He basically threw his plate...
Basically...
This is wonderful. Into the sink and left the kitchen without rinsing it. Okay, maybe they're not adults?
Where are you going, Mai? You seem to be in a hurry. Sherlock deduced. Well, yeah, from
his being in a hurry, I deduced that.
Sherlock deduced, jumping up and hitting the counter, sitting on the counter, swinging his feet.
Nowhere, Sherlock. I'm busy, that's all. He yelled behind him as he went on a hunt to find his coat and his umbrella.
He heard Sherlock jump down from the counter and follow him into his bedroom. Come on, Mai.
That's so awkward.
The voice sounded from behind him. You know better than to lie to me. I thought you could trust me.
What is this? Mycroft stopped in his tracks and turned toward his little brother. Of course, I can trust you, he whispered to himself.
Sherlock tilted his head to the side, waiting for Mycroft to tell him where he was going.
A date, Mycroft sighed.
What? Sherlock asked, tilting his head a bit more, pretending not to have heard Mycroft.
I said I have a date. Mycroft said a bit louder, turning his attention back to looking for his stuff.
Sherlock broke out into a fit of boyish chuckles. Yeah, because Sherlock does that.
He doesn't laugh like a baritone or anything.
Well, we don't know how old they are.
Okay,
with who? He asked, trying to sound serious.
Mycroft rolled his eyes, pulling his umbrella out from under his small bed. Maybe they are younger, but I give up. I don't see how that could possibly be any of your business, Sherlock. I wish your brother is going to give you shit about it. It's its job. Mycroft turned and tried to head for the door. Sherlock quickly blocked his path.
You aren't leaving until you tell me who it is. And you wouldn't want to be late for your date now, would you? He said, crossing his arms.
Mycroft sighed and leaned down, placing his hand carefully under Sherlock's elbows and picking him up, physically moving him out of the way. Okay, I guess they are teenagers or something.
Yeah.
I don't have time for your childish game, Sherlock. I will see you when I get home, he said, twirling his umbrella as he sauntered away. Like, they live together, and I don't even know what's going on.
The coffee shop that Mycroft had agreed to meet Douglas at was only a short cab ride away from home, just far enough away that he felt he was safe from his parents seeing him. He sat at a small table in the back corner of the shop, nervously tapping his fingers on his coffee cup. He just really wanted a guy, just for once, to have someone that was his. Even if it was only for a night. Mycroft, a strong voice asked from behind.
Mycroft stood up and faced Douglas. He was a good-looking bloke, only about 3 years older. How old are they?
We don't know.
I want to know. Because it might matter. With spiky brown hair and dark blue eyes. Maybe an inch shorter. Yes, Douglas, I presume? No.
Douglas smiled a warm smile. He sat down next to Mycroft at the table, confident and proud. Mycroft wondered how he managed to look so sure of himself. Homosexuality wasn't the most accepted thing in the world. No shit, Sherlock. Pardon the pun.
News at 8.
And yet Douglas looked unbothered by the glances and whispers from around the coffee shop. Well, they don't necessarily have to be on a date if two men can get coffee together.
Yeah, like, it's
not
unheard of.
Oh my god, look at those men getting coffee together.
Oh my god, they're so obviously gay.
The pair sat and sipped on their coffee, talking casually about normal, everyday things, and just giving a general description of what their lives were like. They got on well, had reasonably similar views on some political issues and such. Okay, they have they're sort of similar in certain issues.
Maybe they both sort of liked breakfast at Tiffany's. This is what we have in common.
They even both like Manchester United. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Mycroft enjoyed football when he had the time. They talked for hours, barely noticing the sun setting through the window.
Finally, as the business in the coffee shop began to slow, Douglas stood up and stretched his arms high above his head, his shirt lifting, revealing to Mycroft a small hint of the outlined muscles that lurked underneath the thin fabric. So, Mycroft, want to come back to my place for dinner and a movie? The elder man invited.
Mycroft stood quickly.
If you know what I mean.
Mycroft stood quickly and glanced at his watch. That sounds lovely. He accepted.
Douglas chuckled softly. and the pair paid their bill before heading outside and catching a cab to Douglas's small flat.
The pair had barely made it.
But he lives with his parents, and Douglas doesn't, and this is awkward. I feel like Douglas is probably, not, a little too old for you, Mycroft.
The pair had barely made it through the front door without ripping each other's clothes off. The idea of dinner and a movie completely forgotten the moment their lips had touched. The heat of the moment overcame Mycroft, and he gave in to the impulse, returning the frantic kiss. Douglas slammed him against the bedroom door, his sleek body rubbing against the taller man's. Mycroft didn't know what he was doing. And
it's just plural man's. Not, with an apostrophe.
The taller man's.
Mycroft's like, what's happening? I'm confused.
Douglas reached down toward Mycroft's pants, and he panicked. No, he gasped, pushing the more experienced hands away from his crouch.
His crouch.
His crouch.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Douglas planted his lips firmly back on Mycroft's, his tongue raking against them. Come on, he hissed between kisses. You know you want it. His hand slowly creeping downward.
That's not a sentence. Mycroft pulled back and pushed Douglas off of him. I said no, he repeated. What about dinner and a movie?
You actually believed that? Douglas laughed with a smirk. That was just a line to get in your pants.
Yeah, because dinner and a movie is a line. The younger man was taken aback. He was speechless. Douglas had only wanted him for sex.
Douglas furrowed his brow. Well, if you aren't going to fuck me, get out, he said flatly, waving toward the door. You're a dick, Douglas.
Wow.
I'm sure your friend will really appreciate that you wrote him as a total dick.
Mycroft watched as Douglas turned and sauntered into his bedroom, slamming the door behind him. Yeah, because he just, okay, get out. Bye.
Doodles.
I'm going to go masturbate now because you got me turned on and now I have no outlet.
Because I'm into Mycroft.
Then he turned and went for the door, and as soon as his feet hit the sidewalk pavement, he ran. No one direction. Just anywhere his feet took him.
I'm imagining you just around the city. In a random circle.
For blocks he ran until he found... Learn
the word until.
Until he found a dark spot in a small park. He sat down under a small tree and curled his knees up and wrapping his arms around them. No. Rain began to fall, of course, down through the leaves of the tree, soaking through his dark suit. It was then he realized he had forgotten his umbrella back at the cafe. A tear fell from his eye. Oh no! A glistening tear.
A single tear.
Fell from his eye, and he realized he was completely alone. It was the first time he cried alone in the dark, but certainly not the last.
Oh, the humanity! So that was pretty terrible, actually.
Poor Mycroft.
Oh, Mycroft.
Nice job. Your life.
We chose well.
Yeah, we did.
So that was stupid on, a lot of levels.
Many.
I'm just still trying to figure out how old they were supposed to be.
I know.
Because I'm assuming he was a teenager.
Yeah, he could have been 17 and...
Sherlock was also old enough to cook. But I suppose the show never actually points out how far apart they are in age.
Maybe he has an easy bake oven.
His cake was
Well,
Sherlock Holmes is a little girl.
13-year-olds can bake cakes. I just don't think Sherlock bakes cakes.
It just seems like a really weird thing for him to be doing.
God,
Like,
I need new shoes.
if it wasn't for some sort of weird experiment, like, I put worms in it! Or like Sheldon making food with, like, cockroaches in it or whatever it was. Grasshopper.
Moth.
Just like, what are you doing now? He's like, what did you put in? Not mangoes, pears, moth. A moth. Yeah, so that was stupid.
Yeah, it was. Alright. Peace.
Motherfucker.